Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Market Talk. Delighted to be joined today by Jenna Lewis, Commercial Director at LLK. Hi Jenna. And Mark Teed, Food Strategy and Implementation Manager at Star Pubs and Bars. Great to have you both with us. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully over the next half an hour or so we'll have a chat about how you're seeing the market at the moment and what your businesses are up to. Starting with you, Mark, obviously this is quite an important week for the pub sector as we build up towards that reopening. In the last few days, Star has announced quite a comprehensive package of support for its pub partners, particularly your Just Add talent partners. And that's very much focused around menu support and food support and really allowing these operations to open again in a way that reflects the kind of post-COVID world that they're going into. I just wondered if you could kick off by giving us some insight into the thinking behind that.
Oh, so like everyone else in the pub sector, we've sort of had to realise what from a food perspective, what are we going to be open with? And it became really clear and really apparent very quickly that the overriding and overarching theme that we should adopt is the safety and well-being of our customers and our staff. Whenever you try to work out what offer you do in a food business, you'll look at margin and menu engineering and new and wow dishes. And that just wasn't part of the equation. It really was. Can we do this safely? Can we do it well and safely so that our customers and our staff are safe? And it's really, really strange because it makes it a lot easier when you just have one objective and one thing to work to. You know, you can toss ideas around and you can think about different things, but can we do this safely? If we can't, we're not doing it. So yeah, it was an interesting way of looking at it, but something that I've never considered possibly in any menu development or works or reopening strains that we've ever done before.
And obviously that's now been communicated to the partners. What were the key messages in terms of opening safely, particularly from a kitchen point of view?
So we went down the path of trying to create an offer that could be delivered by one person. We operate community pubs. When we do a fair amount of food, but it's not, predominantly we're wet-led businesses. So we don't have kitchens with 5 or 6 people working in any one shift. But by creating an offer that can be executed by one person was really our sort of driving, along with the safety aspect, to make sure that we could deliver it successfully. When we look at our sales mix, pretty much 75% of the food that we sell on a daily basis before closure came from 10 dishes. Those 10 dishes form a big part of what we're doing when we reopen, because we know our customers come to our pubs for that reason. We didn't want to have, it's quite hard to predict the level of sales we're going to have from day one. We didn't want to have a majorly fresh offer. We don't want lots of wastage. So we're operating food that our customers come to us, which we know they like because they're in our top 10 sales, that can be done without second guessing how much we need on a daily basis and predominantly being able to defrost it as we go. So yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, in terms of back down the supply chain, Jenna, I know the LLK is kind of ramping up its own operations at the moment. So could you just give us a bit of an insight into how you've managed through the crisis? And I think you're now unfurloughing some people this week, yes?
So it's been really tough, but we're still here. We're actually getting really busy now, so we've put everything in place to be able to get back into the office from Wednesday. With the flexible furlough, we're going to be able to bring people back part-time and we're going to shift share. So we know it's safe for everyone because there's never going to be any more than 3 people in the office at one time. Pretty much throughout the whole thing we've had our warehouse operative in. So he's been flying the flag for us and getting any orders that we've actually got in out. We've had a battle, but we didn't give up fighting and we managed to secure ourselves a loan. I think the major thing for us was making sure that we could pay our suppliers. to keep everything moving. So we've got a nice stocked up warehouse, and obviously a very good relationship with Capone, which always helps.
Yeah, absolutely, because you guys have now brought across the Capone's second generation of the Giotto oven, the pizza oven. So how was that kind of trying to launch that in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah, so we actually got our first new look at the Giotto when we did the National Pizza Awards back in November last year. So we got that delivered to us straight from Milan. So it came straight out of host to the UK, and then it came out straight out of the National Pizza Awards straight into our demo kitchen. So we have been preparing for the launch of that since last year, but we decided with everything going on that it might have been a bit lost. So we actually started slowly launching it in March, at the start of March, with our marketing back in the office. And it's good to go in our kitchen. We're hoping back to open the kitchen next week. So we're going to be back supporting the dealers with the demos then.
And are you having to do that in a virtual way, Jenna, now that there's social distancing measures in place?
We can offer virtual, but we're going to try, because we've got such a large space in the kitchen, we can actually operate it COVID secure with just minimum of 2 people at any time.
Okay, fantastic. Mark, just coming back across to you again, and carrying on that point that you made earlier about the type of menus you're developing for an operation where there may only be one chef or one person to deliver that food. How deeply have you had to think about the equipment aspect of that? Do your kitchens need new equipment now to cope with the current climate, or are you trying to use the existing infrastructure?
We made a decision to reopen on the menu that we closed on. We'd had a full spring-summer menu all done, just about to print off, but we realised that actually we hadn't had time to train it in. There was still some food that needed to be manufactured. So actually what we also wanted to do is make sure that people, when the chefs in our kitchen, are comfortable cooking the food that they actually were cooking when they closed. So there's nothing new. We think that our customers are going to come back to the pub because they want the experience. They're not going to be led by the fact that they want to come back to the pub to have the latest all singing, all dancing burger. It's purely for the camaraderie and the social aspect of going to the pub. So yes, so no new dishes, no new food items. Everyone should be comfortable cooking the food the day they closed on, I think, the 20th of March. Regards to equipment, it's exactly the same as when we closed. Okay, we've had to fire it up a couple of weeks ago to make sure it's still working, and there's calls out at the moment to fix a few bits. But apart from giving some advice on making sure you've got more grab fridges close to the cook line, we're cooking on gas, the same what closed on. It's just a narrower menu. You need to do a lot more prep, but you do need to do a lot more prep of a lot less items. So, swapping an under-counter fridge or freezer for an upright that's really close to hand, and here's your top 10 dishes. This is what you're going to sell. This is what we're labouring on. So yeah, no new equipment. Just hey, it's got to work for us. And when we start serving on Saturday, they're the engine making it happen.
Oh goodness! I understand that the support package that you have offered to the Just Add Talent sites, are you also having to offer that for the leased sites as well? Have they been taking that up as well?
Yeah. So that whatever we do with our managed operator agreements, we open the door to our leased and tenanted estate. It's not for everyone. We've got some hugely successful operators that do a very, very good job of running a pub. And I'm sometimes quite envious of them because I'd love to be in a position to do what they do. However, there's still a proportion of people who have got a lot to think about at the moment. And if we can make their lives a little bit easier on reopening by providing something that we've already done the work on. We've done all the allergens. It's single-use disposable menu, can be dual-sided as well. Talking about the customer journey, we just print some more and we send it to you. You've got the ability to use our purchasing power. You buy the food at the same price that we buy it from. Using our scale from our nominated food suppliers. But yeah, we're finding the people that we're operating our central offers before we close down are the ones that are keen to reopen with a single-use disposable menu that we'll provide to them, because we just, it sounds simple, but we just print some more. And when you're printing 200,000, another 2,000 doesn't make a difference.
Likewise, coming back to you, Jenna, in terms of your operations at LLK, have you had to make any big adjustments, or I know that you guys have invested a lot in your demonstration kitchen, so have you kind of had to adjust what you do on that side of things as well?
Yeah, well, it kind of just shut down when we shut down on the I think we did it about the 20th of March as well. But what we've been able to do is if customers are wanting to trial product on things, either myself or Will have been going in and getting the product sent to us and doing videos and doing it virtually like that. So we've been able to offer support throughout, obviously not on a personal scale like we used to, but it's been okay. So we are hoping to see more faces in the kitchen again, because that's where we like it best, like face-to-face interaction. It's just better.
Obviously, LLK is known for its expertise in the pizza and the Italian side of the market. Do you see your portfolio changing in any way moving forward?
Not particularly, because Capone pizza ovens are so flexible. You can literally cook anything in them. We cook all sorts in our ovens. Everything on a menu basically, but we are going to have a look into the launch of a new pasta concept, which we haven't for some reason ever looked into in the past, when pizza and pasta go so well hand in hand. So we're looking for a more like built to go in basically, so you can retrofit it into an existing kitchen and produce some fresh pasta.
Okay. Mark, what about from Star's perspective? Is pizza pasta quite an important part of the menu, or is it still that kind of the burgers and typical pub fare that keep you?
Yeah, look, well, as Jenna said, we've got an order going in this week for our leased and tenanted estate. Pizza pasta is it's a simple staple, cheap commodity. We've seen with the explosion of the pizza chains now, and the evolution of pizza, not just being 12, 14-inch, the sourdoughs and the other types of bases. But yeah, it's not necessarily on our managed menus. Burgers, fish and chips, things with barbecue sauce and cheese on them sell very well. It's certainly for a leased and tenanted model. This, and with what's happening currently, we've got to start looking at outside spaces so much and how we can utilise them, and maybe not so pasta, but certainly pizza ovens could feature quite heavily in garden concepts and schemes, because we need to make 200, 150 covers outside work an awful lot more than probably we would do in the past.
Yeah, how many of your sites would have that kind of capability to have outdoor dining?
Within our managed, about 50%. It's really hard to put a number within our leased and tenanted estate, because I don't know, but I certainly reassured and buoyed by the fact we've got an order going in to one of our new developments very soon. I couldn't put a figure on it. Sorry, Claire.
No problem. So what do you think? How do you think the whole COVID epidemic will influence food and menu trends, and accordingly equipment trends going forwards in your estate then?
Trends, opportunities. I mean, I was only looking at this over the weekend, some of the numbers. So the amount of people that have, I'd like to look at it, the word opportunities, certainly for people who, working from home. It's okay if you're operating a business in a city centre location, it's not ideal, but if you're in a rural community, how do you tap into the opportunity of more people working from home? How do you bring them to your business? Lego, people have been doing Lego during the break, jigsaw sales through the roof. How do we bring some of that back into pubs? Everyone's got, during COVID, people buying dogs left, right, and centre. Well, come on, we're pubs. Let's make our pubs dog friendly and appealing. And if people want to, use their new purchased bike come to us because we've got a facility to look after your bike. So I think there's going to be a bit more of a resurgence of acting local, looking after your own communities. Seen that with people opening their own pubs and creating that sort of community feel by turning them into mini shops. I'd like to see pubs continue to champion their own within, even selling commodities from the local farm shop, turning it into the hub of the community and doing that. So yeah, I feel it's a bit more going to be certainly of British looking at acting local, which was always prevalent in the pub sector, but probably a bit more so now.
Okay. Mark, there have been some operators, particularly those that have gone into the takeaway and delivery market over this period, who are kind of re-engineering their kitchens and sort of looking at how the layouts and the flow of those kitchens may even change permanently now moving forward. I just wondered, is that something that you've considered within the Star estate, or is it not really necessary?
We've considered it. We're not going down that line to start with. We're taking really small steps, baby steps. We're quite a lean operation from a food perspective. We're a very small team, so we've got the ability to react and make decisions quite quickly if we need to. Click and collect, yes, I see that model as being quite an important part of us for us going forward. Delivery and takeaways, I'd rather, again, if I dial back to the safety aspect from our perspective, it was not too sure we can do this to start with safely, so I'm a bit unsure of it. So let's open the doors, take small steps. We can evolve, adapt quite quickly within a month, 3 weeks if we need to. So yeah.
Okay. Jenna, from your point of view, and from a customer perspective, are you starting to get a different feel from various parts of the market about the whole possibility of reopening again? And particularly if you were to segment your customer base, are you sort of seeing different trends or different patterns amongst the different types of customers?
We've definitely seen a bigger shift in our countertop range. So we're seeing a lot of existing concepts adding pizza to help them with the outside dining. So we've seen a big boost in sales of Tiziano's and gas ovens as well, which I think are quite prominent in takeaways, being not having enough electrical supply, so they're getting gas. But you can see from where we're delivering, it's takeaways or pubs that are adding pizza to the menu, rather than the bigger restaurants that we do the bigger ovens in.
And have dealers been approaching you during this time and saying we need some more takeaway options? This is what our operators are asking for.
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of marketing around this throughout the period, because we knew that that's where it was going to be in demand, with takeaway still being able to operate throughout. So we kind of put a bit of a package together that was going to be critical for takeaways to be able to serve the people and keep up with the demand. So we've been supporting in that way through our marketing, and obviously the dealers pick up on that as well. We've had the same conversation with quite a few people as well.
And do you think that will shift again now that everything is opening? Well, most things in England anyway are opening from this weekend.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see people finding the feet and seeing how they're going to adjust and adapt and how it works for them before we start getting calls about how we're going to change the menu up to be able to meet the demand. Just
as a final question to end on then to both of you, Mark, what do you think the biggest challenge is for the pub sector as we move forward beyond 4th of July and the reopening?
I think it's just keeping people safe and reiterating that the customer safety is our ultimate priority. We sell drinks, we sell food, we sell them to lots of people. It's got to be a degree of sense in all of this and managing large amounts of people coming back to the pub, hopefully in a really safe way. And just reiterating to the customer that we really want to make you have a really safe environment to still enjoy yourself.
Okay, and same to you, Jenna. What's the biggest challenge, do you think, from an equipment supply perspective now?
I think our challenges will come hand in hand with the customers, really. It'll be how we can help them change their operation and adapt and swivel into a place where we can all keep everyone safe, really.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you both for joining us for this week's edition of Market Talk. Great to get your insight. And obviously, Mark, best of luck with the reopening coming up. I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Take care. Thanks.